50-page manifesto is actually psycho territory. It's Deidre. Hello, it is Deidre, and today we are going to explore yet another Reddit subreddit, r/breakups. Now, I wouldn't typically read anything from this subreddit. However, this post in particular caught my eye, and I found myself talking to myself solely by skimming. So instead of skimming, I'm going to actually read the entire post because I think there's quite a bit that we can unpack here and possibly discuss and learn from. So without further ado, I poured my heart out to my ex in a 50-page letter, and he never replied. I, 20 female French, dated my ex, 21 male Irish, for a year and a half. It was a long-distance relationship filled with ups and downs, but also love, growth, and moments I will never forget. 2 months ago, he broke up with me. He was confused about his life, trying to figure out who he was. And while I understand that, I never believed you need to leave someone you love just to find yourself. One of the reasons he gave me for breaking up was that we had patterns we weren't breaking. I struggled with handling my emotions in a healthy way, sometimes, and he admitted he was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the relationship. I think we both had things to work on, but we're young, and I believed love is about working through those things together, not running from them. When he broke up with me, he couldn't even say clearly what he wanted. That made it even harder because I didn't just lose him, I lost any sense of clarity or closure. Since then, I've been crying every night, hoping he'd reach out. It honestly feels like I lost my soulmate. My body aches from missing him. I feel stuck in limbo. And while people say the breakup is the closure, it doesn't feel like enough, not after everything we shared. Together for how long? A year and a half. Okay. I'll give her that. I did something I'm not proud of. I started checking on him constantly. Any way that I could. I even found his Reddit account. And what crushed me most was seeing that he had made 2 posts about me. Reading his confusion and pain written out to strangers instead of addressed to me broke me all over again. I just wanted someone to comment like, "You fight. You don't give up when it gets hard." Eventually, I wrote everything down. All my pain, all the love, all the things I never got to say. It became a 50-page Google Doc. I poured my... Oh, Google. Google's like, yes, what do you need? Not you, Google. I poured my entire soul into it and sent it to him, and still no reply. After a week of silence, I unshared it. I felt humiliated, raw, and even more alone. The thing is, he was a good guy. Truly, he had the most beautiful soul. He brought color back into my life when I thought it was gray. He helped me grow. He listened deeply, gave thoughtful advice, and was kind without letting himself get walked over. I loved his intelligence, his uniqueness, and the way he saw the world. He was rare. I loved him deeply. Now I don't know what to do. Was I too vulnerable? Was I foolish to believe in the kind of love that doesn't just walk away when things get hard? If anyone has been through something similar, I'd really appreciate hearing from you. So, we're going to get into the comments in just a little bit, but there is something here that I want to point out myself, and I didn't want to interrupt this time. It was the part where she says, when he broke up with me, he couldn't even say clearly what he wanted. That made it even harder because I didn't just lose. Okay, so to me, based on what this is actually about, which is the 50-page letter that he didn't want to read, in conjunction with her admitting that she has difficulty handling her emotions in a healthy way, I can only imagine what this gentleman has been through. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm simply saying, like, when you are in a relationship with a person who doesn't have basic, emotional development, she's 20 years old, I get it, but obviously she let her emotions take the wheel often enough that she's willing to admit that was something that was an issue in the relationship. Anyways, as I was saying, he didn't know what he wanted, and that makes complete sense, but the fact that he is leaving her tells us that he knew what he didn't want. He knew that this was not working for him. And I don't blame him. It's hard to deal with someone else's emotions when they themselves don't have a filter and let their emotions take the wheel to the point where he can't feel secure or safe in this union, which is what I'm imagining was happening. And to address the 50-page letter, that tells us more about her than she might realize. 50 pages! 50 pages! That's a lot! And I'm not saying that it's too much for a person to read. People read hundreds of pages when they read books, but a letter? A love letter to someone who has clearly stated that they no longer want to be in a relationship with you? And you still feel entitled to them sitting and reading your 50-page letter? Like for what? What is her intention in sending this letter to her ex? It's not going to change his mind. The fact that she's upset that he didn't read it, I mean, I get it, but also at the same time, it makes me feel as though she was expecting him to be like, oh, yeah, baby, oh, I understand, oh, you're hurting. No. He's seen enough throughout this relationship, I am sure. Based on the fact that she thinks it's okay to send a 50-page letter after he has done her the respect of telling her, I really don't want to be in this relationship. Okay, so I'm not going to be super harsh, because I get it, feelings. But when you write things like this, write it for yourself. Like, yeah, sometimes there are a lot of feelings that you need to get out. I am all for, I strongly support, I even highly recommend writing those feelings down. Not just breakups, but I mean in life in general, when you have a boatload of feelings and, things that you're dealing with internally, and you don't have anyone to talk to, just write it down. Like, the effect is very similar. I've come to find when you write it down, it's like you're taking it off your heart and putting it onto this paper. But at the same time, in the process, you're able to dissect those feelings and thoughts and possibly even process them in a way that helps you to be able to move past them. So, 50 pages, yes, write 50 pages, but write them for yourself. He doesn't need that. He's on his own journey now. You're not going to change his mind. So to answer her question about being too vulnerable, I don't think you were being too vulnerable. Was I foolish to believe in the kind of love that doesn't just walk away when things get hard? Girl, if you are the one making it hard and you are not able to transcend those patterns that are making it difficult, you can't fault your partner for deciding that they would like to part ways. And she admitted to that. That's not just me pulling that out of my ass. She said, one of the reasons he gave for breaking up was that we had patterns we weren't breaking. I struggled with handling my emotions in a healthy way sometimes, and he admitted that he was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Yeah, probably scared the crap out of him. I empathize with him. It's not easy to be in that position. And you cannot, as if you are a person who is aware that they are having difficulty processing their own emotions, to expect another person to be able to fix that for you or always be on the receiving end of the spaghetti of your emotions, like, it's not realistic and it's inhumane. Those are things that you deal with yourself in therapy. I would hope she's in therapy. She hasn't said it. And honestly, based on the comments that I skimmed as I was screenshotting, girl, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But yes, this is a person who would benefit greatly from going to therapy and finding ways to not make excuses for their behavior and patterns that they're not capable of breaking for the sake of having a healthy relationship. So let's see what some of the comments say. I screenshotted a few days ago, so there's probably more comments now, but we'll just work with what we got. The first comment I'd like to highlight, that's called trauma dumping and oversharing. Have you thought of how your ex might think about it? Could they feel overwhelmed with it? Are they someone handling emotions great and are emotionally mature? If yes, they are not a therapist. Even in therapy, there is no time for a 50-page document. If Rick doing journaling for yourself and learning to self-soothe, bruh. And this other person says, absolutely agree. Okay, I guess what he's trying to say is that is trauma dumping and oversharing. He's referring to the 50-page letter. Did you consider how it would make your ex feel? And this is a question I had too. If he is already overwhelmed with your lack of control of your emotions, do you think giving him a 50-page document of your emotions is how you're going to reach him? Like dump more emotions on him? Like that? I don't think that's how it works. But yes, I get what this person is saying. I recommend doing journaling for yourself and learning to self-soothe. Yes, I agree. That's exactly what we said. Journal for yourself. Process those feelings. This is how you develop that emotional maturity. Write those feelings out and process them. Allow yourself to process them. If you need help, go to therapy. Have a therapist also look over this journal with you. I'm certain, as he said, they're not going to read all 50 pages, but I mean, at least they'll be able to guide you as you try to process and find your own healing, instead of expecting someone else to take your emotions on and fix it for you. This next comment says, yeah, I'm gonna be so for real. 50 pages is obsessive. I wrote 7 and I'm embarrassed about it now. If someone put that dictionary you wrote in front of me, I wouldn't read it either. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I don't know, I'd probably skim it, at least, but not read it. And someone responded to that comment saying, yeah, I'm kind of bothered by my lengthy and multiple texts, but it's proof I'm not avoidant like he claimed I was. Just a little bit of both, because I'm mostly secure and quite human. We're all human though, and as my therapist told me, it's better to be vulnerable than it is to be armor. Even if it means 50 pages. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's better to be vulnerable, but don't dump it on another person and expect them to give you something back. It doesn't work that way. And also, in some situations, it might be considered manipulation, especially when it's toward a person who has empathy. Wow! OP responds to that original comment and says, you obviously have never been in love. No, this is not love, girl. This is not love. This is extremely toxic. There's a total lack of respect for this person. Like, you don't even see that? The fact that you think that you can explode your emotions all over his face here and then expect something back, like, that's wild. You have zero regard for the fact that he was struggling to cope with what you were dishing. This is narcissistic. But we're not allowed to use that word, so we will say this is very self-important patterns of thought that don't take into consideration the other person that has to deal with you. Oh, I just want to point out this comment was downvoted into oblivion. Negative 151, girl. No. Oh, the original commenter responded to that comment that she left saying, you'll agree with me once you're further out, and I promise I loved my ex too much. But yes, you were likely too vulnerable. It might be even scary for him, yeah. Overall, it's just a lot, and even if you wrote a shorter letter, you can't expect a response. Bingo. And someone responded to that comment with, oh, this is confusing. Someone who thinks people who don't respond to a breakup with a 50-page letter have never been in love clearly doesn't have anywhere near a clear grasp of reality. And I don't think any length of time or distance is going to fix that. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And here's another response to OP's comment about someone never being in love. 50 pages is crazy, and love ain't got nothing to do with it. That's exactly what we said. That was not love. That was codependence. And Opie says, well, I'd rather look stupid than have the regret of not showing how I feel. Girl, your feelings are your problem. She lets her feelings take the wheel, it sounds like. And she thinks that they should be able to navigate the situations. However, that is an excellent way to destroy the road you're driving on. It wasn't some meaningless message. Everything I said was about me and him and things I never got to say. It was my closure, and if you people don't understand that, I really don't care. Girl, you don't need no closure. You need to move on. Actually, I think you did get closure because he told you, I do not want to be in this relationship. I think that's enough. He doesn't have to explain to you or tell you what he actually wants. Like she said, he didn't quite know what he wanted. He doesn't want to be in the relationship with you. respect that. The problem here is that you don't want to take that for an answer. I think it's quite clear, especially considering you've only been together for 1.5 years. Then why are you here? And someone responds to her with that love comment by saying, I hope you don't delete this post or comment so in 10 years you can come back here and cringe. And she says, I couldn't give a fuck about being cringe, lol. I'd rather know I did everything I could. You're doing everything but respecting this guy, let's be real. And I think that is pretty telling of what he probably had to deal with in this relationship. It's him versus this girl feelings, and her feelings do not wear a muzzle. Yeah, and like I said, as you can see, her comments are very aggressive and tone deaf, thick skull type of responses. I get it, she's 20, so I'm not going to be too harsh. However, this is what it looks like. I want to read this comment because actually I think it's pretty spot on. Babe, that's not love, that's unhealthy obsession. I'd venture to say that you have never been in love. Ooh, yes, that's accurate. 50-page manifesto is actually psycho territory, even for being French. Okay, let's move on. I had an ex message me probably about 7 pages worth of text that condensed down to him calling me a mean person. And he was right. I stopped being nice after the relationship ended because he wouldn't leave me the hell alone. Needless to say, what he wrote did help me understand his view of certain things that were said or did, colored through his vision of the world. What stuck with him was different than what stuck with me. You wrote 50 pages telling him your heart, and he may never have read it. He may have written a response to it that you will never see. Maybe he made fun of it, or maybe he deleted it altogether. And I'm sure that hurts. That you will never know, but you need to move on. I agree. It's never too late to move on. As for the checking on Reddit thing, you now know where things went wrong, and honestly, if someone is willing to post online and not talk with you, that's a red flag and you shouldn't want to be with them. I'm gonna stop right there for just a second because I think I know why this gentleman was not going to her. As she stated that he stated before, there were patterns that they couldn't move past. There were patterns in their dynamic that was repeating that they were not able to move past, and that bothered him. I would not doubt that he made attempts to approach these things with her, but was met with the person we see commenting on this post here, OP. She's sensitive to criticism, and even bringing up little things in the relationship that he would like to have happen a bit differently. Chances are she responded in such a manner to where she wasn't willing to take accountability. So no, I don't think this commenter is correct in saying that that's a red flag and you shouldn't want to be with them. Sometimes that's what you have to do when you're in a situation with someone who cannot work with you. You start asking questions, asking around, and it looks like that's what he was doing. I think the bigger red flag is the fact that he did try to talk to her and she didn't know what to do with it. That ended another relationship with another ex. He kept posting about me online, about issues he was having and not telling or talking to me about them. He still posts about me, and it's been over 5 years, almost 6 now. Girl, how you know he's still posting about you? He faked a heart attack when I tried to end things with him, and I ended up having to ghost him because he would have panic attacks whenever I tried to address the elephant in the room and leave the relationship. See, this sounds like what Opie's boyfriend probably had to deal with. And I know I wasn't there. I'm just speculating, but this sounds like OP. Had a message from his mother once asking me why I was trying to kill her son with my heartlessness. Ew, Mom. It's better to just block them and move on. Find someone new. You're young, you're French, so many people out there ready to meet you and be around you, so go meet them. Okay, so this comment is good. But I don't think she realizes that she's literally talking to OP, who is probably akin to the boyfriend being described in her own story. Here's a good comment that's not totally against what OP is saying. I know what you're feeling right now is hard and difficult. I'm 3 weeks out from a breakup. 50 pages might seem like a lot to people here, but I understand it. You shouldn't be downvoted. You're in pain right now. I am too. I will not disparage you for what you did. I've done several things myself. Just know that you will heal and you will grow. One day you'll look back at the letter and laugh. not because it was 50 pages, but because he wasn't worth 1 page. I'm writing this to you because I'm in pain. And don't let people affect how you try to fix things. Just be careful. I want my ex back, but I know it's her that has to choose me. I can't rationalize feelings. I hope you get through this pain as much as I hope I do too. That's nice. I mean, I can tell that comment came from a good place. The only issue I have is the part where he says, don't let people affect how you try to fix things. We said this before. In this type of situation, the only way to fix things is to respect the wishes of your ex-partner. Respect. Even in their parting ways, you can't respect them. Like, that says a lot. This is not someone trying to fix things. This is someone who lost their partner and wants to have them back. They want the partner back. It was a good partner, but they don't even have any respect for the partner, to where they can't even respect that the partner is no longer happy. It's about you, OP, having what you want in your life, and this person here that actually made sense to you and dealt with those issues. He was a good listener, you know? I'm sure he wanted to help you, but you cannot help people who do not want to help themselves. And unfortunately, she scared him away. I like this comment. You should look into attachment theory. Yes, exactly. I used to overshare when I was anxious attached. This only pushed the other person further away, as they often struggle with this much of emotions and dumping. Understandably. Agree. It sounds like you are anxiously attached and he's an avoidant. Having this realization really helped me not take my bad breakup personally. We were both acting out of our subconscious attachment wounds. And unless we both came to that realization and made a very strong effort to change, it was never going to work. That's a top-tier comment right there. Thank you. Here's another comment. I say this with all the love in my heart. This is what diaries and friends are for. After my first big heartbreak, I wrote a 14-page letter to my ex and read it out loud to him. He cried and was very moved, but it didn't change his decision. He asked me to send the letter to him, but I didn't. In retrospect, I'm so glad I didn't. Now that I'm 2 years out from the breakup, I'm so embarrassed that I wrote all that and read it to him. But do what you gotta do and then forgive yourself for what you did while you were in the midst of heartbreak. That's fair. If someone wrote me a 50-page letter, I would throw it away. I don't have time for that. Respectfully. And Opie responded to that one. Well, he didn't, and no, I don't think people would do that if they were with someone for nearly 2 years and thought they were each other's soulmates. Do you just have no heart? Girl, bye. Here's a good comment. That 50-page letter was for you, not him. The way that she flexes emotions and love and heart as if there's some sort of almighty sword in relationships, like the solution to everything, like, no. It's almost like she's weaponizing love to defend herself against criticism. Well, I love him. I'm just trying to fix it because I love him. Do you just have no heart? Having a heart is good, but you must also have a brain. Respectfully. Ooh, these next 2 comments are fire. OP, be realistic with yourself. A 50-page letter pouring out your feelings is not partly, but mostly just for you. If you wanted to do something for him, you'd respect his decision on the breakup and give him his space. That's exactly what we were. You had hope with that letter for a connection, a response, something to hold on to, or maybe even change his mind. That's exactly it. Though those feelings might have been honest, I cannot help but feel the actual intention was to manipulate him into feeling with her, feeling something with her, perhaps as strongly as she was feeling it. And I'm not buying it. And the second comment in response to OP here. You seem to think the heart follows the rules of logic. You can't explain yourself into being the object of someone's desire. Yeah. Someone says, that's a bit excessive. Move on. You think he's more likely to reply by the 40th page? You send a novel. Ain't no way he's reading all of that. Yeah. 50 pages is too much. I wonder if it's 50 pages front and back, total 50, or 50 pieces of paper with words front and back, as in like 100. I'm quite a bit older than you at 53. I have a little more life experience. Always put your thoughts into 2 paragraphs at most. Yeah, I need to do that. Everything you felt for him, everything has to be put on hold. He set a boundary. He may return one day, you never know. You're both young. But he will never return if he thinks you're crazy. And men can paint the picture that we are crazy. Now, I don't think he has to do much painting here. Don't give him any ammunition to do that. But what if it's the truth? Live your best life with your friends. Let him see you happy and active. Pretend to be happy even if you're miserable inside. Pretend it every day until you actually find yourself genuinely having fun without him. Always look out the windshield and not the rearview mirror. Okay, yeah, valid comment. And I agree, like if you were to part ways with him, like the day he told you he no longer wanted to be in the relationship and you respected that, then all this other stuff, like living your best life with your friends and having a good time, could possibly affect him. Because that's not the version of you that he was used to. He was used to the one that smothered him. So if you actually showed healing and acceptance and respect for his wishes, this commenter might be right. Like maybe, you never know, if things came together in the future, he might actually consider it, but not like this. And there's a comment in response to that comment. I'm still holding out hope for an ex. I wonder if he will come back, but should I even want him then? I didn't beg, but I really did try to convince him not to break up with me. I think I lost my self-respect. Gave him all the power. I wonder if this crosses into the I let him know I'm crazy territory. Facts are, he doesn't give any indication now that he cares about me. He's moved on and we are not communicating. It's just in my head. And this is an example of how writing things out is an excellent way to allow yourself to actually analyze and process. Good job, commenter. We'll close with this comment because OP actually responded to it at the time that I took this screenshot. A 50-page letter? That's psychotic. You weren't even together for 2 years. Woof. And OP says, well, haha, I'm a psycho for being honest and vulnerable. At least I have no regrets or what ifs. Do you not? It sounds like you are having some regrets, but anyways, that's the end of the comments. What do you think about this situation? Personally, overall, I think OP, she's 20 years old. I'm not going to be too harsh, but it sounds like she is a bit oblivious and naive to relationships in general. And I'm sure that's something that can change with time. Actually, I think I was that type of person back when I was 20. I think I was. I really do think I was. So I'm not going to hold it against her. I know it comes with, learning to feel your way around these things and, development of self-awareness. Sometimes you have to experience some things before you realize that you are the problem. And so I'm not going to fault her. Not the asshole, but just you got to learn to respect other people's wishes. You can't always let your emotions take the wheel and think that it trumps everyone else's. I think that's what's happening here. Sometimes you also have to apply the logic aspect and the empathy aspect. I can only imagine how she used her emotions to try and steer their car here throughout the relationship, because that's exactly what she's doing. On Reddit, when she's faced with criticism about what she's done. So, go ahead, don't hesitate to leave your opinion here. I always read my comments. I'm happy for comments. I don't get a lot of them, actually. From day one, I've called this channel a place of learning, and I stick to that. So, even though I have my own opinions, I am totally open to hearing someone else's and also learning and seeing things from a different perspective. So share yours.
Yeah!